The R-301 is a rifle that any Apex player will immediately recognize, and Titanfall players will also recognize it by its almost identical appearance to all the R-101 and R-201 variants. The R-301 is a jack of all trades as it is an extremely viable weapon system at both close and medium distances, and can even do chip damage at longer ranges. The weapon is relatively generic and would be considered to be the standard starter AR in the game, similar to how the M4 or AK would be viewed in other games set in the real world. In this video, I want to briefly go over the design of the system and how viable it might be as a real world weapon. Based on the description given with the concept art of the R-301, we can get insight into its design choices. Additionally, we will see some of the background for the weapon's updated design compared to its predecessors, the R-101 and the R-201. First thing we know is that the weapon system includes an internal CPU which collects data on the weapon system such as heat generated, round counter, number of mechanical failures along with what caused them, and the ability to cycle the weapon in case of a jam. With today's technology, this kind of equipment wouldn't be practical. The extra weight of the electronics along with potential issues with fixing the equipment in the field would make it less than ideal. While the round counter is handy, knowing barrel temperature and other analytics isn't particularly important while on the field. While jam clearing may seem useful, clearing a firearm jam is often as simple as tipping the gun over and running the charging handle, meaning the additional weight of motors and mechanical parts to automatically clear the gun would be overkill. Continuing on with the internal CPU, the description states that the piston system in the gun was removed and now only uses the AI built into the internal computer to control the cycling. Now let me go on a short rant because this makes no sense at all for multiple reasons. First, this is equivalent to saying that a car is unreliable, so we decided to remove the engine and is now only controlled by AI. Obviously an AI could assist in driving and maintaining your car, but you still need an engine. Additionally, we directly see on the weapon system that there still appears to be a gas tube, meaning it still cycles off of gas, which means that it has some sort of piston within the gun. I believe this is just thrown in to sound futuristic, but it makes no sense at all and obviously has no real application. Comparing the R-301 to its older variants, it has had increased frame durability by changing the structural material to composite metallic weave, which has also helped with overheating. Additionally, the R-301 is more reliable and accurate and was fitted with a new larger caliber. What exactly this caliber is, we do not know. The R-101 is described as being chambered in an 8.19mm round with a polymer case. We at least know it's something bigger than that. However, there's still no clear explanation of what this round is. Based on the iconic back slanted magazine, we can see that they are not very wide, meaning the case is quite short. Barrel overheating is also mentioned multiple times, even though the weapon is not a designated machine gun, which is a bit unusual. This leads me to believe that the cartridges are using some kind of propellant that is more intense compared to the smokeless powder we are familiar with. But this is just speculation. Moving on from the description to the physical appearance of the gun, there are a few things to note. The overall build of the weapon seems practical and nothing seems highly out of place. The weapon features expected controls in the expected locations, and the body appears to have plenty of room for functionality, such as the bolt cycling back into the gun. All of the weapon's controls are seen mirrored on both sides, showing the gun is set up to be ambidextrous. Even the dust cover is present on both sides of the weapon, meaning the bolt can most likely be adjusted to be left or right side ejecting based on the user's preference. Starting around the trigger, there are some things that immediately stand out. First is the safety selector. The selector switch is similar to what you'd see on an M4 style weapon, but only has two positions, which are safe and fire, presumably full auto. This is quite strange since the weapon is known to have three positions with safe, semi, and full automatic. You can see the animation shows the character moving their thumb around where the button is, even though there's not another position to move to. This means there is simply an oversight with the design of the selector switch compared to the known fire modes. There's a large blue button on the magwell, which is presumably an oversized magazine release. Additionally, there appears to be some kind of switch within the trigger guard. The purpose of the switch is quite unclear, but it could be a bolt catch release. However, the empty magazine animation uses a charging handle, meaning that if it is a bolt catch release, it is either less convenient or serves an entirely different purpose. Overall, it is a curious piece that could have multiple functions, but it remains a mystery. Also, on the topic of the trigger guard, it is very large. Like, excessively large. Even if it is oversized for gloves, this is excessive and potentially dangerous, as objects could easily get inside and depress the trigger, resulting in an accidental discharge. On the top and towards the front of the gun, we can see the rail system. Rail space is a bit limited, but it still has enough space to mount grips, flashlights, optics, and whatever else you would need. The rail seems similar to a Picatinny rail, but follows a short, long pattern, which doesn't seem to have any particular benefit over a traditional style rail. However, this doesn't seem to have any issues either, as long as this follows as standard within the Apex/Titanfall universe. The barrel seems to be mounted with some kind of textured muzzle device. It is unclear what the purpose of it is, but perhaps it is a compensator. Something similar to a CQPU compensator seen on some rifles like this AR-15. It is on the small side for that, but it could be a futuristic model. Additionally, there are some fins at the top and bottom, which most likely functions as a very simple muzzle brake. In conclusion, the R-301 is an extremely iconic weapon among the franchise, and even after nearly 20 seasons, remains one of the best all-around weapons. From a real-world practical standpoint, it appears to have reasonable functionality, and besides a few strange design choices, it would still be a relatively functional weapon if we had it today. That is all for my breakdown of the R-301. As you know, I typically do cinematics, so this is something a little bit different. Hopefully you enjoy, and if you do, let me know in the comments below, and maybe what gun you would like to see in the future. Thank you, and have a good day.